Well, I am now officially in my mid-30s. Sorry, late 30s. Sorry, late 30s. Where has time gone? Shiroi, where did time go?
We learned a few years ago that time is a lie, so it doesn't. It just doesn't go.
Uh,
Time is equal to 11 o'clock.
okay, so everybody, welcome to the Problem Child trilogy. Yes, like we did Casper last time. So for my birthday this year, well, I might not do another childhood trilogy of mine. I mean, the last one we did worked out pretty well. We had fun, despite the questionable quality of the movies involved, right? However, I'm much more confident in the quality of the movies that we're doing this year. Okay, so let's talk Problem Child. So unlike most people who got introduced to Gilbert Gottfried via Aladdin, particularly his role as Iago, I got introduced to him via a movie that came out 2 years before Aladdin, Problem Child from 1990. Now, why am I doing this? Well, as a lot of people I'm sure everybody knows, Gilbert Gottfried recently passed away, sadly. And it got me nostalgic for the old days. And I decided to rewatch these movies. In fact, Deji actually joined me when we were watching these three movies. At first, we were like tempering our expectations. Okay, I haven't seen these movies in years. Dej, probably they're not going to age very well. So, but we can still try to enjoy them as just products of their time. You know? Okay, cool. Me and Deji were actually quite surprised that even by 2023 standards, these movies have held up pretty well. They're still really funny and very entertaining. I'm not going to tell you that every single line of dialogue aged perfectly, but for from three movies from the early 90s, I would say they aged pretty well, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, these movies have never been and still are not for everybody. If the idea of a little kid who's an incredibly rambunctious shithead playing pranks on adults who mistreat him is not something that you fancy, well, there's your warning to maybe turn back. For those of you,
so it's the trademark child fulfillment.
Yeah, the best way I can describe these movies, Shiroi, is: have you ever had that moment when you were a little kid and you were either incredibly condescended to by an adult or a bully from your school mistreated you or something, and you just wish you could do something really bad to that bully / adult as payback?
Oh yes.
Well, that's what this movie is for, Shiro. It's that kind of wish fulfillment, and that's why, in my opinion, it can appeal immensely to kids. Because as a kid, I always saw these movies and thought, wow, I wish I could do that and not get in trouble. So basically, everybody, we're doing the Blu-ray copies. The first two movies were released on Blu-ray, whereas the third movie was released digitally only and on DVD, I think. I don't think the third movie got a Blu-ray release. We'll get to the third movie. For now, let's just talk about the first movie. So the first movie was actually written by writers. Let me get their names: Scott Alexander and Larry Karazinski. What they wanted? Okay, here's what they wanted to do. This was kind of like early Simpsons. Those who are familiar with early Simpsons know that Simpsons was originally meant to be a satire of what Matt Groening used to call the sanitization of the American family. When I say that, I'm talking about 80s American sitcoms, stuff like Family Matters. On the Family was 70s, to be fair. Full House, that kind of sanitization of the American family that the early episodes of The Simpsons were rebelling against. This movie
says a lot that one of the main stars of Full House was an incredibly raunchy talker thing, but on Full House, let's just say they tamed him on Full House.
Yes. According to these writers, they also wanted to do something like that. They were tired of movies according to them, they were always tired of movies who portrayed kids as innocent little lambs who are cute. And they wanted to do something that was completely opposite of that. Something that was like a direct critique on that kind of sanitization. Portray a kid in a way that felt authentic rather than crowd-pleasing. And that's what we have. I will talk more about the development as we go along because... all right, everybody ready?
Ready?
Yes.
Since the first movie was done in 1990, the logo you have to start before is the anniversary Universal one. I think we discovered already it in one of the Child's Play movies. I think, if not, we still, commonly simply. The point being, if you have seen a movie released by Universal in the 90s, you know that you have this specific logo before that.
All right.
All right.
3, 2, 1, click. And the other main reason why I really wanted to do these movies, because they're just hilarious. They're incredibly fun movies if you're into this kind of thing.
I have never seen them, so it's a first experience to me. But I have a question in the meantime. When was what's it called? Good Son instead being released in terms of
Oh, I think it was 90.
after this? That's my point.
1993.
Okay. So way later after this, because that also follows a similar.
Although that actually is an interesting thing that I could bring up to. Originally, they were actually considering giving the then unknown child actor Macaulay Culkin reportedly auditioned for Junior, but Michael Oliver was ultimately cast, which I actually think it's for the best, because don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Macaulay Culkin, but for the kind of role that this is, you need someone who's more emotive in his acting. All right, I love this bit here. So already as a baby, he's being abandoned. Okay.
He sounds very happy-go-lucky about the fact that his mother literally left him on someone else's doorstep.
There you go. Not my problem anymore.
Bye. I thought we already commented on Pan. Oh my god, it's a baby! A human baby!
Huh. We still just abandoned kids on the doorsteps in the 90s.
Aw, look at that. Isn't he so cute?
I watched this episode of Doctor Who a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Babies do that.
Wait.
So there he goes. Off to some oil.
Back
Hey.
to the bone, seriously?
Wait. Seriously, all he does is pee on you and you just automatically
Why
abandon him
is
to somebody
using
else?
Back to the bone for the...
Because trust me, Taylor, that's the most appropriate song to have as Junior's theme.
I guess it's more of a case of Valeris in hindsight, considering the mimetic status the song has reached these days. Oh, the irony. Jesus.
And there you go. I love this joke, and I love this. Every time they do, it's always the same basket, even if it's too little for him. It's always the same basket.
That's a cat. What? No, don't do that.
Wait. Oh no.
Don't poison the cat. Okay, the cat is a bit dumb for actually getting there, but... Okay.
That's okay, Taylor. We're operating on don't worry, Taylor. We're operating on cartoon logic, so the cat will be fine.
I was starting to get reminded of the sequences in Mars Moms. Jesus.
Okay, I think this borders on childhood cruelty now. Also, gotta love how the houses he's given to just get dingier and dingier.
Not.
Oh,
Tracy
Well.
Baker got nothing on this kid.
Rob Zombie's Problem Child reboot is off to a great start. Jesus! Huh?
man, all he did was break your toy.
Nobody breaks
You
my.
broke his home.
Well, Jova, you yourself said that this was childhood cruelty. So basically, he was eventually given to an orphanage.
Why that wasn't the first line of task is certainly a question to ask all of humanity.
Jesus!
What?
How?
Through the logic of 90s cartoons, Jova.
Okay, not for nothing, kiddo. I get that you may have had it tough, but do you think maybe you might have been part of the problem?
Gee, you think? It's like this what's the name of this movie again, Jova?
Problem child.
It gave birth to the Antichrist.
Shiroi, it's probably not a good time to tell you that you just called out one of the movie's later jokes, right?
Oh, we're gonna use an exorcist.
Trust me, Shiroi, the movie itself will make that joke. So...
Oh my god.
Okay, to
we
be
really
fair-
can't escape him.
To be fair,
Donald is a name that's already
exists.
exists. Donald is a name that existed a long time too.
The particular phrasing, it leaves a lot to be desired. Up to imagination, Pedro, trust me.
I mean, it's the
Hold on.
American name.
I'm gonna. So these two. This couple. I love this. Listen to this stuff. This is hilarious.
Okay.
damn.
Hold on. Listen.
This movie.
Why wasn't this clip used in 2020 to describe COVID tests?
I love how nonchalant he is.
Sorry, part of the uterus fell off.
That is not how you tell someone they're invisible.
Trust me, Shiroi. Trust me, Shiroi. As you're going to see, this woman deserves everything she has coming for her. Trust me.
Why are the ovaries looking like the Shiva stones from Indiana Jones 2? The barren wasteland.
I love it. I love this kind of nonchalant humor. Like sure, you know what this is? It's kind of like a reverse of how Peter tells someone he has AIDS. You know, except he does it nonchalantly instead of super happy.
Instead of in a whole musical number.
But yeah, the father, the upcoming father, is of course played by John Ritter, who was basically known at the time as was typically cast as the nice guy type character, but in later years he's become he's done more edgier material.
Ugh.
Mystery meat.
Both?
I think to a child, like, being forced to eat healthy,
Jesus.
quote unquote, is a punishment.
Yeah.
Oh no. Ooh.
Ugh.
Praise me.
Bop.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
God is dead.
Yeah. God is giving you a spare one, don't worry.
That's why you have two.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is a criminal that Junior is a fan of. He's played by Michael Richards, aka Kramer from Seinfeld.
Sure.
Oh boy.
There you go. There's the little Cabbage Patch. Oh, and there you
So
go.
is this movie
This-
like based off? Oh,
No, this is an original movie, and it's not adapted from anything.
I think it got a cartoon.
It got a cartoon, but the cartoon came after.
Apparently,
But
Gilbert
also-
Gottfried is in the cartoon too.
Yes, he is.
When was instead the Dennis the Menace movie released?
Oh, that was after, I think. And Dennis the Menace is actually based on a comic, or strip,
yeah,
or a
yeah.
strip rather.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the future parents, as I'm sure you already can realize. Yeah, as you're going to, as I'm sure you're, as you'll see, Shiro, trust me, that woman deserves everything she gets to her, and it will become even more clear. So yeah, this guy here is Ben Healy. Like I said, he's played by John Ritter, and now we're visiting Big Ben, aka his dad, and he's played by, oh god, what's his name? I've seen this actor so many times, but I always forget his name. Jack Warden. Yeah.
Okay.
Jack Warden. Where have I heard that name before?
He's been in a lot of movies in the 90s.
Yeah, considering the age he had already with this movie, probably has been, in a lot of movies over the decades.
He's apparently one of the other. He's like one of two actors who's in all three of these movies. Wait a minute.
Okay. That's a good punchline.
Sir?
Also, yes, because remember, this was before the economy bubble burst for Japan, so America was scared shit and was selling everything to them.
Oh, the irony. Oh, it's his dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn. I can see that you only come for the most warmest of feels to this movie.
It's not about family.
If you were a real man,
Toretto would hate this
if you were a real man, you would backstab me. Basically, sure, as you can see, Ben is the only genuinely good person in this scenario.
Like, shoot, even our main protagonist ain't exactly an angel himself.
Well,
This isn't like this movie is called Problem Child, not Child that's a slight inconvenience.
Oh, remember, infanticide is evil. Don't resort to it.
Whee!
Okay, maybe you could call it self-defense at this point. Like, shoot, it's not even like it's not even like she's being cruel to him. The boy pretty much starts it every time, and it seemed like he could have killed her that time.
Maybe this one can actually get kidnapped by the pirates. So.
Oh yeah.
what kind of coach are you? Oh, if we win, we get ice cream. If we don't win, yeah, we'll get ice cream anyway. Yeah, great motivation, dude. Like, I understand the idea, but at the same time, if you give them ice cream either way, that doesn't exactly motivate them to try harder.
It's like the exact thing that George Carlin was criticizing about this time period. The whole, oh, don't worry, you are the last winner.
Yeah, again, The Simpsons said it best. Hooray! Everyone's a winner!
Damn.
And of course, he just happens to show that he's having
All right.
a son too.
Now, all right. So this is one of my favorite scenes. Gilbert Gottfried, ladies and gentlemen. I've already showed this scene to Shira, actually. I love this man so much.
Legally speaking,
Hey, those are good illustrations.
they certainly
Nurture
are
his
here.
talent.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, wow,
No,
listen to this. This entire scene is just gold. All right, so let's hear what Junior has to say in his defense.
Oh my god.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
You know,
Hold on.
honestly, I could totally see this kid being
Yeah.
the villain.
Yeah, she wants to disintegrate him with lasers.
You know, how weird is it that even though the kid is supposed to be the hero, he could probably go for the villain like in The Good Son,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, listen here. Can we take a moment to appreciate that that scene just happened?
I mean, why wouldn't he want out of the orphanage?
Sure you are. So yeah, here's the first major reason why this movie works. Michael Oliver's performance as Junior is perfect. His laugh, the way he speaks, this kid is a shithead kid and he acts like it.
Yeah, they really brought this kid on and said to be a shithead.
Because this movie does in no way try to quote unquote soften him up or make him, you know, again, this is the entire point is to be a direct critique of the sanitization of kids in media before this movie came out. So that's why Bart Simpson was a lot more rambunctious and much more of a rebel in the early seasons of Simpsons. It was meant to be much like this character was meant to be a direct critique at that kind of sanitization. So here's the thing.
Oh, joy.
The only reason Flo wants a kid is so she can look good for the neighbors. So she doesn't actually care about a kid, whereas Ben actually does want a kid to take care of. So. Well, I guess technically it's a way of putting it.
Overall, the idea seems to be that, well, you can't go to a kid's party without a kid. And Flo seems to be on the idea that being a parent
Jesus,
gives you
okay.
that power.
Also, I love the fact that, he had to convince her using this work tactic because he's supposed to be a salesman. Oh, child, you have no idea.
No, they did not actually send that kid's letter to a serial killer.
Uh,
Huh, so this is the aftermath of Seinfeld when the cast got sent to jail.
Damn. Jesus.
Fun fact: Christopher Lloyd was originally going to play this role, but
Really?
he was busy at the time with Back to the Future Part 3, so he declined.
Interesting how everything rolls about.
I mean, he's not completely wrong.
I get the feeling he doesn't even know.
Oof. Yeah, fair enough. But that's a big register.
The days before the internet, Tio. No, back then,
I get it, it's
everything went into
comically
paper.
over-exaggerated. My mother used to work in all the bureaucracy department, and
Oh
I can
yeah,
tell.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely oversized, but to be fair, I have seen some looks at some massive pages of text. I wonder how... Okay, assuming Junior stays adopted by the end of this movie, I wonder how they work this guy into the plot of the next two movies.
Oh, I can tell you that, Jova. Every movie he has a different profession.
Oh. Yep. So he's kind of like the
It's
kind of like
he becomes kind of like a comic relief antagonist for Junior of sorts, basically.
I was about to ask, is he like Bruce Campbell in the Spider-Man Raimi trilogy?
No.
Or is he...
No. He's more than just a cameo. He's an actual proper character. He's always Peabody, whereas in the Raimi trilogy, Bruce Campbell is more of a cameo than anything.
Although, okay, we do know it was supposed to turn out that was the same guy each time, and that would turn out to be Mysterio, but we never got to that point. But I get what you mean.
Yeah, Fuzzball will have someone to play with. Isn't that great?
Because, of course, adopting a child is as fluid as a business deal.
I mean, that's how it works, Drova. I ain't making the rules.
Oh, the nun seems so sad to see him go. No one is ready for what is to come.
Nope.
Oh boy.
You just know. Yeah, just close that thing.
Wait for it.
Yeah, we all know how this scene is gonna end because, you know.
Party time!
Holy cow! Even the kids are happy to see him go.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yay.
Like, it would say something if at least his peers liked him, but this implies that everyone hated him. He seems so happy. He has no idea.
Oh, we already had the talk of these. Yeah.
Oh, famous last words.
Famous last words, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy.
Alright, I love this bit here too.
Oh no.
A lot of fragile stuff.
Yeah, even the cat is like, get this shit away from me.
Oh, I actually showed this bit to Shiro as well.
Of course the parrot is named Polly.
Of course. I love Michael Oliver's smile, like he perfectly captures how the character is supposed to come across.
I'm guessing clowns are his one weakness.
Holy shit.
That's a lot of clowns.
Eh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that scene in Poltergeist.
So I get back to clowns.
Yeah, you means the cat, Shiro, sorry.
No, I already showed her that scene actually. So
What, the cat being yeeted?
no, him picking up the cat.
Oh.
Oh!
Yeah, just ignore him.
Don't worry, Jova. That will make it all the more satisfying in a few minutes.
You're the uncle, aren't you?
He's
Or
actually
grandfather.
grandfather, actually.
The absolute hysteria.
Do we know actually what state are we supposed to be in?
Somewhere in the.
Oh, that didn't take long.
He literally appeared out of some smoke.
Ow.
You know, the sad thing is, he might actually be right. He is an absolute dick about it, but...
Mm-hmm.
No, don't do.
Oh, God.
That's the scene I was referring to.
Jesus.
There you go.
Now Granddad has no eyes.
Oh, God. You know, this could fit in for a horror movie under some
Again,
circumstances. When you
this
think
is
about it.
Universal IP. Jason Blum, you have the opportunity to do the wildest thing ever. Oh, jeez, even the cat got injured. Holy shit. Oh. Well, part of it at least.
And yeah, as you can see, Ben is the only one who tries to be a genuinely supportive father figure to him.
I think the trope is wrong genre savvy. Like, I think he's in the wrong movie.
Like, okay, under most circumstances, yes, absolutely.
Oh, Rorschach test. I mean, I had to expect this because, again, the 90s were ripe of these movies that really portray psychologists as, you know, clueless or something. But again, it's part of the joke, too.
Anyway, apparently the primary filming location was, Texas.
There we go. Oh, speaking of, oh, there you go.
Oh, no.
The proud penitentiary forces of the United States, Jova.
Also, how to be a great dad. Keep that in mind, the books he reads, because the books that he reads throughout this movie will reflect how he is feeling at the moment in the story.
Yeah, the kid is like, fuck off.
Get this brat away from me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Big Ben was damaged yet, son. Give it a few.
He's talking about the
maybe
grandfather.
A decade or two. I know.
Oh.
Oh my. I guess Mommy is actually having interesting thoughts of her own.
That and your room kind of caught fire.
So in this movie, it's the mother in the family that has the stash.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as I'm sure you've realized from what that line implies, this is Junior has had probably a lot of people who, and we've seen this in the prologue, a lot of abandonment from adults who just give up on him quickly.
Again, admittedly, might be partly his fault.
Oh, sure, no one's saying that he's a saint, but at the same time,
I want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, here's another good, particularly good example of what I'm talking about. Look at this girl.
Of course, a good neighbor policy. Ew.
Wow, you're horrible and judgmental, aren't you?
Oh. Oh, man.
Uh,
I mean, to be fair, he was a proper serial killer hunted by the entire state. Chances are, we were going to run into some of his victims.
and kids have no filters.
That or she is literally comparing him to a mortician. Either way, ouch. It will not be awkward at all, I'm sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mother of the year.
See, Shiva, this is why I don't feel sorry for her in that doctor scene at all.
It's again, I'm going to wait until the end of the movie.
I think it's best to look at it through the lens an Always Sunny fan would look through it. Everyone is terrible. It's just a varying scale of who deserves what potency of punishment.
Okay, someone in the development team really loved cats, so there are
Yeah.
quite a couple in this
Well, Ben
movie.
is. I'll argue Ben.
Alright.
Well, Jova, there's Ben. He's the nice one.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, look. Just because a lot of people are terrible doesn't mean that everyone is terrible. But it's like when it's pretty much like almost all the main cast.
Mm-hmm. What happens is that, again, the movie knows that this kid is a problem child. It knows it. It calls itself that way. So it really is one of those, again, it's like I said at the beginning, this is just one of those cases where if you're into this kind of escapism or not. Yeah.
What? Wow.
The kid in
Wow. You're an asshole, aren't you?
I don't know. It feels like rather than to be mean spirited, was genuinely still happy for the fact that he could share a hobby with you.
No, but it's the way he phrases it too. Like, well, sure, you had to get him from an emporium, basically, but hey, like it's just like, well, that's really mean thing to say to about an adopted child.
It's pretty much the tone of, oh well, you had to adopt your kid. How good for you.
It's like that image that I found very early in the years of the internet of this ninja cat popping out of a birthday cake with a sign saying you're adopted.
Notice also how Roy gave himself the super dad cap, and Ben only gets the dad cap.
Of course. Considering they're also the respective coaches of different baseball team, they clearly have a rivalry going on.
Oh, really?
Oh boy.
I can see this is a great origin story for the postal dude.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of the source of the comedy is Ben, who's a genuinely well-meaning, good dad, who's just trying to do his best, and Junior keeps getting himself into situations.
I do have to wonder if Junior is legit evil. Oh no.
Oh, hi.
Remember,
Junior, why?
remember, Roy said that he was going to masquerade as a bear. So now Ben thinks that that's Roy.
Oh no!
Classic.
Junior, your father might die.
Do not tickle
Yeah.
a bear.
I see he just wants to hug Shirley, come on.
Jesus, that bear just gave him a freaking karate throw. No, that's actually Roy. Those kids are going to be traumatized. Oh
It obviously
no.
thinks he's the real bear, yeah. Ooh.
You know what? Like I've already established, I don't like his attitude towards adopted children, so have it. Discipline and your child. He's reading right now.
Thanks, Paulie.
Oh boy.
Polly says dickhead.
Of course.
There you go. Now he is literally
The devil.
the devil.
He seems a lot more receptive to his grandson.
There you
Dang.
go. Ooh.
Aggressive. The girls
Wow.
are accusing the boy of having cooties.
Fuck you, bitch. He's not even a real kid. He's adopted.
Okay. Now you really are asking for it.
This is one of those definitely cases where she's definitely in the wrong, because Junior, as he himself said, he was just looking at the president, wasn't even doing anything. So they're just like very judgmental.
Mm.
And keep in mind too, before we finish the scene, this was before Pulp Fiction, so keep this in mind.
Which Roosevelt?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Also, lady, he was busy talking to your child.
This is the other thing about the movie. These movies do pick some good, do make some good song choices.
Oh god.
Sprinkling some spice into the party.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing that I was saying at the beginning of this commentary. Yeah, like for a lot of us '90s kids, the idea of getting payback from someone who wronged you, this is this is kind of a really good fantasy for a kid. So because a lot of because this idea of being able to do it successfully, and not getting in trouble and shit like that. There you go.
Jesus.
Oh boy.
Of course.
Of course.
Way to welcome in the party with a bang.
Literally.
Oh boy. Festive. Oh boy.
Just a bit. Yeesh.
You be a mother.
Yep. Sure, we've already established that she's
I'd
code.
never
It's about
not
the.
ever do that, Shiri, with that attitude.
Yeah, it's already become abundantly clear, Shira, that she's not interested in being a mother. The kid is a means to an end to her.
Yeah, a business entrepreneur.
And I totally didn't know he was listening to me, Father. Didn't even know he was giving him an allowance.
We talked over it, but.
Yeah.
Okay. But, like one of my favorite jokes that we talked over was a basic joke. He gives him, "Here's your allowance. I hope you know how to manage it." And he's like, $1? How do you manage $1?
What, are you
Well,
surprised?
Actually,
Sounds like he's actually surprised he finally got a parent who's nice to him.
It's because Ben is the first adult who's genuinely trying to with him and not giving up at the first thing, and that's what makes Junior come around, of course.
Which, I'll be honest, might be a testament to his patience on the level of sainthood.
Well, Jova, the movie ain't over yet. Hold on.
This movie is really about his slow descent into madness.
Shiro, have you seen this movie before?
No. You can tell. He's doing his best. He's gonna crack. We're just waiting for it.
Okay, Shiro, I guess you know what that means. Time to play some bets. How long till he cracks?
I mean, it's a movie from the 90s, so probably at the 2/3 mark.
So basically any minute now.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. They live in the fictional town of Cold River. Keep this in mind because this does take account when we see the sequel.
Does it take place in Texas? Because
I suppose so, considering everything else.
Well, I don't know. Is Cold River a natural city? I'm pretty sure it's not, isn't it?
I do not recall.
Yeah. Well, regardless, the point is they live in a town called Cold River. In this movie, the second movie they move.
Very subtle.
Remember, he's trying to get elected into being mayor too.
It's just a game of baseball. What could the kid possibly do?
Damn.
Hold on, that's actually a really good moment for Junior coming in a minute. Actually,
Clearly, we need Michael Jordan now.
Sure you don't.
Oh boy.
I like this bit here between Junior and the other kid in a moment. Listen to this.
Damn.
What the hell? Why does this family suck?
I do like how Junior stands up for him already. So. Well,
Close enough to actually.
Of course it's his car.
It's because of course, Jova. It's karma.
it's karma, Jova.
Karma.
Well, Shira, you yourself just noted that he was being a dick. So, grab to the bat. Hold on to the bat, Junior. Hold on to the bat. See, now I would definitely watch baseball. If it was more like what we're about to see.
I don't see you doing much to quell your kids there.
Like, you're a grown-ass man.
It's okay, Shira. He's gonna hold on to the bat.
Off the bat.
Nope.
Oh!
Jesus.
Oh no! It's a massacre, I tell you! An absolute massacre out there! Oh, God!
No one told me baseball was so eventful.
Yeah, and now Shira. Oh, I forgot about this kid. Yeah, and now since this is a '90s movie, obviously, gotta have this guy, of course. All right, and now Shiroi, here's the line that you predicted. Touchdown! All right, Shiroi, here's the line that you predicted in now.
The priest?
This bit. Listen here. Listen here.
Oh.
There you go. He's starting to crack. He's starting to crack, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, the two-thirds mark.
Okay, I need to check who was the composer for this.
Of course, the confessional.
The music has been sounding
Miles
like
Goodman.
Crash Bandicoot for a while.
Miles Goodman.
It does sound Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, he did the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Huh.
You think maybe you took it too far, kid, that even the one person who was on your side has reached the end of his rope?
Yes!
Yeah, you
Just
are.
for yesterday.
Wait. $30.
Yeah.
You never wanted to try it in the first place, lady.
You know, maybe it's karma that she isn't fertile. God,
That's a nice
man.
sentiment, but the kid still needs therapy, bro.
Oh yeah, no. That kid needs therapy, discipline, and I think I agree he does need a priest too.
I get the feeling that he's coming around a bit too much. Like we just had the scene where he's given up. That's the Stockholm syndrome talking to you.
Well, one of them.
buddy.
Well, one of them at least.
I mean, if the trilogy you mentioned before could be, why not?
Okay, I do wonder, no, kid, no.
Of course, Born to be Wild.
Yes. You know, the wife is terrible, but God, if she may have a point about it at this point. What a great bonding moment. A father teaching his son how to drive.
Oh, don't worry, Jova. This is not the big bonding moment. We're gonna have that later. And the big bonding moment is amazing.
Wow, this really is a Fast and Furious movie, Shiroi.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no.
Of course
No,
it's his
Junior,
father's store.
no!
Not the Pepsi!
Born to be wild.
Now this kid is a criminal.
You see what I mean about the song choices? That's great. Born to be wild is so perfect here. Why not? Such a great irony.
I think by the end of this trilogy we should bust out that 20-point list.
Oh, The Exorcist!
Of course. Why not?
I'm amazed that they were not arrested for that.
Like you said, I think by the end of this trilogy we should probably bust out that 20-point list about being a psychopath.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh God, his life savings are gone. And you know the interesting thing? This
Hold on.
oh God.
Jesus. Perfect timing.
Oh.
Let's put it this way, Jova. It's best to look at this movie like an before reboot episode of Family Guy. Like, it's not meant to teach a good moral or anything like that. It's just this kind of really, kind of, mean-spirited in a good way type of fun,
Yeah, there's a sharp glass nearby, actually.
I think what I find interesting is, like, after the big poignant moment, normally you expect the moment where the dad decides not to give up on the son to be, like, the big heartwarming moment where things get better. No, if anything, that led to stuff just getting worse.
Yep.
He's still holding the pillow.
Yep. That's the...
He's contemplating.
Ben is not fine anymore.
Please leave a message after the beep.
He is the one who was really holding out for Junior the most, and now he might be the one more likely to murder him than the actual serial murderer in the room. How messed up is that?
Yep.
Is she really trying to voice that?
Hold on, wait for it.
Wow!
I guess they are made for each other.
Yep.
Wait, oh my god, she had her way with him instead
I
of
was
the other
not
way around.
expecting a movie like this to feature the Netorare tag.
If you ever
If you
want to
ever
see...
want to see your wife and kid, it's gonna cost $100,000. Oh, he kidnapped them.
Now take a wild guess what his reaction to this is.
Meh.
Whatever.
Or cheer, joy.
I'm free. I'm free.
Bow tie killer manhunt.
Well, it's Texas. Well, okay, if this
Of
is
course,
Texas... Okay, if this is Texas, I'm not surprised he got his hand on some guns.
He's gonna take him back, isn't he?
Never meet your hero.
There you go.
Yeah, never meet your heroes.
You liked my adopted mother enough.
There is a god.
Honeymoon?
Damn.
Oh, God. How did he
How did he
fit her
fit her
in
in?
there?
Yeah.
He's a very...
Questions are best not be asked.
He's a very... Oh.
Oh,
Gee, I wonder what he was referencing there.
He's gone, Shira. We've lost him.
I mean, to be fair, he's
can
venting.
understand.
He's venting, and it...
Oh.
He really tried.
He really did. Oh God!
Yeah,
he
drew
actually drew
him
him
prep.
well.
And the prune.
He just had a very demonic way of showing it.
He's literally a problem child. But there you go.
Where did he
So,
get
yeah.
that other car from?
Time for the big climax. But first we need
Read his
but
dad
first
the riot.
yeah, but first we need some money to pay the ransom.
He actually agreed earlier. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, assuming this is in Texas, just dig the grave for him. The 90s.
Charming.
Now that's some karma. Did you have to... Well, it's good to see you care for the kid, but did you have to crash the car?
He's got nothing else to lose.
That's the thing, Jova. I don't think Ben comes out of this completely. He's never going to be the same ever again. See?
I have earned this.
Yes, I'm gonna have to agree. Diablo Brothers Circus. Who calls their circus Diablo Brothers? That's like
Spanish.
no.
Mexicans.
I get that. It's just like, hey kids, come to the circus of the devil.
You know, honestly, we do
Sometimes it
brand
did.
some stuff Diablo
Sometimes
stuff.
it did happen. It's particularly annoying. Jesus.
My brother in particular loves that joke. Like, look, a giraffe. Look, a fist.
How is she breathing in
Okay.
there?
Remember, Joe, this movie operates on 90s cartoon logic.
Oh.
Wait, why do you... Oh, now you want to keep the kid?
I mean, he's a crazy killer. So
Oh, that's bit.
being involved.
So what do you
in
say?
that- Oh.
You walked into that one, my guy.
Yeah.
I actually have to wonder if they got an actual circus to participate for
I
this
wouldn't
climax.
be surprised if they did.
Of course.
Uh, all part of the act.
Of course. The show must go on.
Oh god, he's going to flying Grayson's him. Oh boy. He called him dad. Let's be honest, at this point he has to be the one.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Okay.
all right, Jova. Now we have the proper father-son bonding moment: chasing a criminal in a car chase with a rifle.
Jesus.
Okay. I suppose it makes sense. The recoil might break the kid's arms.
Isn't it so sweet, Shiroi? A good father-son bonding moment of trying to chase a criminal with a rifle.
It truly is like a Fast and
And,
Furious moment. Oh, Max.
A good old Sunday drive.
Oh, now you want a divorce, huh?
I appreciate a movie that can make me look at a climax like this and think, yep, this is the most appropriate climax for this story.
So, who's the insane murderer in the scene again?
Oh,
Bye.
I'm sure she'll be fine.
her legs are sticking out. And we never know where she ends up.
My wife has probably broken every bone in her body and she's laying with a pig. Oh, shoot.
No, get down.
Now, if you know your movie tropes, what happened?
Okay, the prune absorbed the bullet.
Very good, too.
I was gonna say that, but yeah. I think he actually means it
I
for
get the
once.
idea. I get the idea. The director or someone knew about how the cliche, was still, relatively redundant. So we sped up as much as we could.
Oh, no, they're about to subvert that cliche anyway. Hold on. Give it a moment.
No, it was the button that did it.
No, that was cheap. It let it pass.
Oh.
It's the prune that made it work.
Yep.
Cute.
Oh,
Well, he's fine. We can leave him be after getting shot. No! At least we
No, this
need
is bad.
moderation. We need some moderation.
They're just like, fuck everything,
Yeah. There you go.
Oh God, did the pig actually eat her?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Oh. Ugh.
And the movie ends saying na 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 to you.
I wonder if there's a post-credit scene.
No, there is not. And there you go. That was Problem Child, ladies and gentlemen.
That was certainly an experience not like much else I've seen.
Yeah, that's kind of why I love it, because this movie, it doesn't feel like it wants to play by the rules. It just wants to be itself. It's not particularly trying to please anybody in particular. There you go. All right, so that was Problem Child.
Curious, what was the overall reputation of this trilogy?
Back in the 90s, it was well liked by particularly young audiences like me, right?
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
But of course, it got, like you said, it got a 0. It is worth remembering that the 0% on Rotten Tomatoes has only 30 reviews, and obviously these reviews were done way after the fact. So it's not an accurate representation of what critics said about the movie in 1990, obviously. Because all of these reviews on Rotten Tomatoes were released in 2014, 2013, I'm seeing here 2019. So that being said, no, even back in 1990, the critics weren't exactly kind to this movie either. I don't think they all hated it or anything, but
do we know what Cisco and Ebert had to say about this? I know that they had weird opinions about the Home Alone franchise, so I do wonder what they thought about this.
I don't think they did this one.
I'll check in the meantime.
All right.
But, okay, to be fair, when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, 0% would just mean that none of the registered critics gave it a positive review. So I guess maybe they didn't all hate it.
Sure.
Go on.
No, I was basically done.
All right.
That being said, it's one of those things, Jova, where it's a movie. My opinion about this movie is that this is not a movie that's trying to, be crowd pleasing. It's not trying to tell a good moral and everything. It's just trying to present a funny situation. Again, like a classic Family Guy episode before that show went to shit, basically.
I'm honestly fine with this, honestly. Okay,
Go ahead into your final thoughts then. Go ahead.
I have to say, even for a movie back in 1990 up till 2023, this movie is subversive, but in a good way. Like, I do dig how this movie pretty much moves to the beat of its own drum. Like, the big scene where the father decides to keep the son despite everything after realizing that he's been returned 30 times, Again, normally that would lead to the big, heart-storming moment where everything gets better. It's actually where he reaches an even lower point and contemplates murdering that kid in his sleep.
I do appreciate how dark the humor can get. Like, this is the
He
kind of...
follows him around with a pillow. And
Okay. I think that's definitely this movie's greatest strength. It's mean-spirited, but it's done in the right way. Like, it's not mean-spirited without purpose, like a bad movie would be.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of runs on, I think I'll call it Always Sunny logic, where most of the main characters are pretty much all dicks, but it is satisfying to see the bigger ones get what's coming to them, essentially.
Yep.
And oh boy, do they ever. I do feel legit sorry for Ben, though, because he's a well-meaning father who I think was driven insane since he says for the son to just be himself and... No, please, let's balance stuff out with some discipline. Like, it's good that the kid was able to help put a dangerous criminal behind bars, but let us not forget everything.
If it helps you, Jova, by the time we get to the second movie, while he's still a problem child, he's not as bad in behavior as he is in this movie. So there is some growth on his part.
Which is weird, because from what I've seen, the second movie is actually rated PG-13 instead of PG like this first one. So.
Well, yeah, but remember, this movie was rated PG before PG-13 was a thing, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
If this movie came out just 1 year later, it would have been probably a PG-13 too. The only reason this movie it's one of those cases where this movie was lucky to come out at the time before PG-13 was a thing. So they couldn't name this rate this R because it's not really an R-rated movie, not really.
No.
So they had to give it a PG.
And then you got Hunchback of Notre Dame made in a clear time where PG-13 was a thing, and that movie's rated G.
Although there are some people who suspect that Michael Eisner pulled some strings to get that.
Definitely. Like, Disney definitely were no strangers to slipping the MPAA some money to make the movies the most viewable they could be.
Indeed. Carry on.
But yeah, no, like, I'll admit, I wasn't sure what to expect from this, but it was a surprisingly very fun time. Like, again, the movie's strengths are that it's subversive and mean-spirited, but not without purpose. Like, you can tell what they're planning here. I guess I do feel like if I were to give a critique, it does feel like sometimes even the movie itself loses track of its morals, because sometimes it feels like we're legit supposed to feel sorry for Junior at points where, I'm sorry, no, at that point, discipline is the very, very, very minimum at that point. And it does feel like, ironically, sometimes I do find myself agreeing with the grandfather and Flo. I mean, ultimately, they do end up being worse for it, so it's good that the movie at least makes sure to do that. I do feel like at sometimes the movie expects us to feel sorry for the kid where that probably would not fly. And that's not to say that they never give us a good reason to feel sorry for him. Like, admittedly, at the little girl's party, he did seem to try being nice first before he was essentially barred from the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like, even it says something that even the kid admits that he might have taken it a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. He is the quintessential version of a child who makes a parent go, I look forward to when you have kids of your own. Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea for a sequel. Seeing him grown up with his own kids and seeing what he had to put his parents through.
Mm-hmm.
But I will give it this, though. It is a very good subversion on stuff. Like, again, even to this day, because it pokes fun at a lot of tropes. Like, again, the parent who really won't give up on a kid. And while, yes, it does seem sad he's been returned 30 times, almost immediately the movie reminds you, oh, wait, yeah, that's why. Because this kid really is a terror. And it does make you wonder how much those other parents tried now. It does make you wonder, did his original parents abandon him because even as a baby he was doing evil? We may never know. And the thing is, the kid knows. Oh, sure, yeah, like, he feels ostracized, but the kid ultimately knows how evil he is, too. Even uses it to torment the nuns and everything. And, of course, play Gilbert Gottfried's character like a fiddle the whole time. But ultimately, the comedy is good and on point. I'll admit. I'll admit. Sometimes it can get a little juvenile at times, but for the most part, I'd say, okay, as long as you're definitely one for slapstick, you'll probably enjoy this one. If you're not one for slapstick, you probably ain't gonna dig it, because slapstick is definitely, I'd say, like 90% of this movie's comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And to give it fair, though, they definitely do commit to it very well. Okay, hear me out. Junior teaming up with Kevin from Home Alone.
I thought you were going to say Dennis the Menace.
Actually,
The British version, not the American version.
You know what? Let's make it a quadrio. Both versions of Dennis the Menace, along with Junior and Kevin from Home Alone.
And throw in Bart Simpson if it's an animated version.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm sorry, Theo. You want to say something?
No, I was going to mention again Good Son, but that's also played by Macaulay.
Oh, that movie is not a comedy, though. That
Yeah.
movie is meant to be taken seriously, though. I don't think it counts.
Good Son, a.k.a. Home Alone if Kevin was the villain, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's Good Son, basically. But that's the thing of it. Not just the slapstick. I will argue there's the occasional really good dark joke like the "we've adopted Satan," like moments like those are just so fun because and not to mention what do you think of Michael Oliver's? But because we talked about how child acting can be very hit and miss, I will argue Michael Oliver is definitely one of those cases where he definitely sells you on the character.
I can probably tell he probably had a ton of fun. Like,
Yeah.
It does help he was probably given a lot of kids' dreams to do whatever you want.
Yeah, think about it like this. You're the 7-year-old boy, or however old Mike Oliver was at the time, and you're told by the director, here, just go ape shit and unleash hell. Like, this has been such an incredibly fun movie for him to shoot.
Oh yeah, like, and he definitely shows, like, and the thing is, like I said, this kid could pass for a horror movie villain, even in the context of this film. That is how devilishly clever he plays the character, and I am all here for it.
Yeah. Continue.
Again, I feel like this movie is a great note on how you do mean-spirited and subversive movies without, being obnoxious for it. And I can't stress enough how great that is. All the actors pretty much give it their all. It's nice to be seeing that Gilbert Gottfried will be returning for all of these, even the cartoon. Like, geez, he must really like this franchise.
Gilbert Gottfried. Well, based on what I understand, Gilbert Gottfried was a guy that was incredibly funny and fun to be around. Like he was always willing to be a part of movies like these because this is just his jam. We've seen him in a lot of movies where he plays. We've seen him in a lot of movies where he plays in cartoon characters because he was born to play characters like these. So.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, I'll say this pretty great movie. Again, I do feel like you need to be in the right mindset and definitely be an appreciator of this type of movie to enjoy it to its fullest. But I think my lucky stars, I fall into those categories.
It's kind of like a 90s cartoon, but live action.
It definitely encapsulates how risque the 90s could be. And again, I love that.
And like I said, an intentional critique of these, as Matt Groening called it, the sanitization of the American family, because this was 1990. It was right at the beginning of the 90s, back when the 80s were still very alive in memory. So
that's one of the iconic thing about the 90s, rebelling against the 80s.
Yeah, basically. All right, Shiroi, what are your thoughts on Problem Child?
Most fitting name for a movie.
Yes.
I think.
So, Shuri, if you had a kid like this, would you abandon it, or would you be there for it?
I'm pretty sure this is a great commercial for contraceptives.
Yep.
I'm not having any kids. I'm having cats. So I will save all the cats in this movie from this brat. And the dogs too, from the mother, quote unquote. And that's the thing. Okay. Oh, go on.
Well, no, I was just going to say, Shirei, for what you said, it's a good segue because, in case you don't know, Shirei, the poster of this movie apparently attracted soccer moms. Because it's to be honest, probably will see it via thumbnail, but it's supposed to be a parody of those 50s, 60s, and 70s type of sitcom poster that Pedro mentioned, and it features the protagonist.
The cat in the washing machine.
Yeah, in the washing machine, and people did not like that apparently. If only they could have seen the posters for X-Men Apocalypse.
That doesn't even happen in the movie.
No, again, it's kind of like the poster of Frozen 2010. It doesn't happen in the movie. To answer your question, Jova, if you forgot, we mentioned some of the posters feature the scene where Apocalypse strangles Psylocke, and people were not very kind to them.
It's because, Shiroi, are you familiar with the Look Who's Talking movies?
No.
With,
Gottfried.
Yeah, basically, Shiroi, it was a common thing to have posters like these. They would portray kids as cutesy little, isn't that cute? The kind of thing that Baby Genius was trying to do, to rely purely on, look how cute these kids are and shit. This movie,
meanwhile, this kid is committing arson 3 feet away.
It was an intentional deviation from that cliche at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Also, I'm just gonna say it. Like, the mother, quote unquote, look, like, she's a bitch.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to say that somebody deserves to be infertile because, that's a pretty horrific thing. But considering what we've seen of it throughout this movie, I think God had some plans with this.
Oh yeah, that's what I've said. You're
Let
right.
me put it like this.
Suddenly,
Can you imagine how
sorry.
she would have treated an actual biological child, which would
Yeah,
have been
it's
much
like
harder to get away
God
from
had
her.
some plans here.
You see, Shiroi, now suddenly in hindsight, you don't feel so bad for how the doctor treated the matters, do you?
She does not deserve to be a mother. I said this movie's great. I like how the movie just kind of like there's no need for a lesson here. The father and the son are both just like, screw it,
Yep.
Like, we'll be chaotic together and go on a joyride.
The movie's having a lot of fun with itself.
It's
about the-
supposed to be stupid. And,
Yeah.
and it's stupid in a good way, I think. You can tell, like, even when the dad's having the breakdown, or even a bit before that, like, Junior's, like, actually likes him. So...
remember, it's that first moment. A lot of people don't seem to notice that moment. It's that you first notice it in the baseball game where you're that. You mean that dork that bothers everybody else? And he's like, he is not a dork. So that's your first showcase that he's actually enjoying his time with Ben.
And then the drawings of him
Yeah.
when the dad is having his episode. The granddad also sucks too, but also he knew he sucks because he's a corrupt politician. He's not wrong about the child.
I think it's a case of takes one to understand another, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't that imply that the father's just become that insane at that point?
All the great tags, Netorare and corruption, magnificent.
It's contagious.
Goody.
What do you think of Michael Oliver's performance as Junior?
That's great.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier on, they really just brought this kid on and asked him to act like a little shit, and he does it very well.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Yeah.
All
That's
right.
great.
All right. What did you think?
Yeah, okay. First of all, I'll tell what I think. I mentioned what I found. The movie is technically fine, but it's not really for me. Not to say that, about not having a moral or oh no, there are no likable people in this, therefore it's unwatchable. More like the genre that is not particularly my thing. I guess I'll take more Home Alone over this in terms of rebellious child, wacky slapstick, against someone and everything. I get the idea why these might have fans, but it's the kind of thing that I will switch the channel to something else that was going on at the time, potentially. Again, nothing personal, it's just rain on my thing. I could not find the Cisco and Ebert stuff. The only thing that I could find is a Washington Post review that compares it to Gremlins 2 and says it's basically about tearing stuff up, and after a while you grow tired of seeing variation of the same joke. First of all, you don't understand Gremlins 2, sir. I don't know what movie you saw. I don't really think that what's happening in this movie, like, sure, at the basis, it's what you said, because the joke about the kid committing horrible atrocity, but there are variations to that, I don't know. The idea that this was just, a bit superficial as a criticism.
Not to mention denouncing... sorry, go on.
Also, we're mentioning about Gilbert Gottfried, Pedro. The only thing that this movie was nominated for the Razzies that year was Gilbert Gottfried as Worst Supporting Actor. Thankfully, he lost to, the Donald we mentioned before for his role in Ghost Can't Do It. But still, this proves once again about the Razzies not really understanding a lot of things at the time, just as now.
Arguably, but no, that's the thing. Like, Gilbert Gottfried does a great job as always with this role, because again, first of all, he's a great straight man to Michael Oliver. That's the first thing. He does a great job. Look, the kid's unbalanced. I was playing devil's advocate. No, that's just like, I cannot even begin to understand the point there. And as yourself
I
said,
think I know what's going on here. It's that thing the Razzies do where, well, this movie is considered bad. Well, that means this category will automatically go to it there, as opposed to how bad it actually is.
It reminds me of this is a problem I always had with the Razzies, where they're more about what's the most popular bad movie to hate rather than what's the actual worst movie.
For example, 2011, where arguably they just gave every award to Jack and Jill just so that they could say that Jack and Jill was the first time to win all those awards, essentially. When they gave flipping Al Pacino worst
supporting actor.
Supporting actor.
The same category for this one.
This is ironic because he's considered the best thing in that movie, to the point where nowadays the Dunkachino meme is more or less encompassed that whole thing.
Like I'm personally my personal pet peeve is in 2017 where they dunked so much on the I think the Emoji Movie got worst movie, I think, if I remember correctly.
Worst picture, yes.
Yeah, which. Okay, don't get me wrong, it's not a good movie, but worse than Boccaveri? Nah, no.
I'm more agreeing with Cinematic Excrement and think that while there are still problems with Boccaveri, technically speaking, I still hate more the Emoji Movie for what it represents.
Oh, sure.
But however, the award still should have gone to the Snowman just for the fact that it's unfinished.
Oh
yeah,
God,
sure.
2017 was quite a year for
that is perfectly fair point too. However, I will argue that these awards should be about which one is the worst movie rather than which one represents the worst thing, in my opinion.
But
without
anyway,
a doubt.
my point in all of this is
go on.
Combined also with the reception that this movie got. This makes me really, again, reinforces my theory that movies are best enjoyed only in the future compared to when the time they actually were made. Like I said, the movie is perfectly fine. The child actor's performance is fine across the board, but I think there are a couple of times where the tone of voice is just kept the same, even if it should feel like it should, inflate or be more snarky potentially. But again, it's a child actor. You have to work with what you have, and 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get potential bad performance, so you have to work.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest too, and I will say that again, this is not to say that I hate Macaulay Culkin or anything. It's just that I don't really think Macaulay Culkin would have been a good pick for this role because. His delivery, it's just that because his overall delivery in the Home Alone movies doesn't really fit for what this was going to be like. He would have
worked better with the facial expressions rather than the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a guess.
Sure.
The other actors work fine. I still feel slightly sad for how the mother is treated by the gynecologist. Sure, she's a dick of her own, almost a Karen to a fault. But again, just having to be told that you're infertile, like that, it's a bit of a sad situation overall.
Oh, sure.
It is definitely one of those cases where it's a thing you realize in hindsight.
It's more of a case also where the movie is unapologetic to everyone, so it's just basically blindly shooting at that, not looking in the face at anyone. But the other actors, the conservative grandpa, yeah, he's actually fine for the role that he's given. It reminded me a bit of a movie, I think it was Striptease, where there was a similar role to that. The father, I get the. First, I wasn't particularly sure where they were going around with this character, but overall, as the movie went on, I kind of get it. It's supposed to start out as the hopelessly, optimistic kind of archetype that gets basically deconstructed and broken until you have to be that or join with the madness. So there is that. The serial killer. Yeah, it's fine. You can tell that towards the end of the movie, it has been more of a foreshadowing towards, the climax of it, more than anything. But it works out for, providing the conflict. And at the very least, we don't have the whole second act. Well, the second act breakup still technically happens, But at the very least, it's not as painful as in other occasions, and it doesn't last that much. That's something that I noticed also with the cliches of the prune absorbing the bullet. This movie, the people who made this movie know about the cliches of the time, and even when they had to go through potentially maybe some of them for executive mandate because it's still Universal that we're talking about. They knew how to not make them overstay their welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, by the way, if you forgot to mention the budget, 11 million and recouping 72.2. So yeah, it like Pedro said, a lot of people went to see this movie enough for it to be a success.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's fine. Not something that I would really watch or rewatch. Even when I was a kid, I probably wouldn't have watched this most likely. But it's fine for what it is.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's one of those things where it's just like the only point I have to say about, well, I will make an argument that there's technically no second act breakup here because the dad the dad changes his mind about giving the kid back even before he tells him anything. Yes, the kid heard it, but technically it wasn't a breakup because the dad didn't actually get to the point of actually telling Junior, I'm bringing him back to the orphanage. And again, as for the whole thing, it was the criminal that kidnapped them. So I will argue there's technically no second act breakup here.
I mean, the son's still there at the house with them anyway because the father insisted on keeping him, a decision he truly grew to regret.
Maybe that was the idea no, even after all of this, he still stays with him. No second act break. Maybe that was the idea to subvert that. Maybe, who knows?
I mean, granted, at that point he's considering murdering the kid. So we might have gotten a permanent second act breakup if he had gone through with
But one thing that I do like is that if you actually rewatch that scene and pay attention again, you'll notice that what little effort he makes to push the pillow, it's just like a minor thing. Like he barely even stretches his arms with the pillow, right? So
he is truly a broken man.
I've always took it that he's too even when he's trying to kill someone, he's too nice to actually go through with it. That's how I always took it. But no, I still really enjoyed this movie. It's a stupid movie. It doesn't but it knows it. This movie's not trying to please anybody in particular. This movie's not trying to be a masterpiece that is acclaimed by critics. No, this movie, like Jova said, goes at the beat of its own drum, and it's just doing its own thing. It's basically creating this fantasy world where a kid can get away with all these things and still be loved. And again, if you just watch it and you just turn your brain off to an extent, it's a lot of fun and one of the main reasons is, and I will still stand by this, Malcolm Oliver's performance and John Ritter's performance. John Ritter is a fantastic straight man to Junior. Same thing with Gilbert Gottfried. Screw you, Washington Post. And yeah, Michael Oliver is absolutely fantastic in this role, in my opinion. He absolutely nails what the character is supposed to be. Like, he's supposed to be a shithead, like an incredibly mean-spirited child, and the movie owns it and does it in a way that feels fun and not at all unenjoyable, because the movie is always very aware of itself. Like, it never at any point does the movie apologize for this child's behavior or try to rationalize it too much. It does rationalize that, yeah, the reason he's like this is because he's been, like we've said, he's been returned 30 times. And adults don't seem to try to understand him, like Ben said after reading one of his books. But it still acknowledges that this kid is not a saint by any means. And the jokes, the writing is overall incredibly funny. The jokes are funny. I still laugh my ass off during the baseball game scene, where the hold on to the bat scene, like with the perfect cap off line. We've adopted Satan. I always crack when that line comes up because it's just so perfect of a punchline. And I just love how, again, like Jova said, how deliciously and well executed the mean-spiritedness is, because in the hands of worse writers, this would have been unwatchable. But these writers know how to use the perfect mean-spirited joke at the right time. Again, another bit where that obnoxiously nice kid in the church is talking to Ben, and Ben eventually cracks and he goes, "Blow it out your ass." And like I said, the climax to me is absolutely brilliant. A bonding moment between father and son, with the son driving, the 7-year-old son driving, by the way, and the dad with a rifle hunting, trying to shoot a criminal on the run. Can you think of a better?
Great.
Sounds great, doesn't it? How come,
Genius.
it's one of those things where I was like, "Hey, how come you never took me? Hey, Dad, how come you never took me on a car drive while we chased down a criminal?" But yeah, it's such a perfect climax for a perfectly crazy climax for a perfectly crazy movie. And that's what I love about it. It doesn't apologize for anything. It's a movie that is what it is. It doesn't. If you don't like it, too bad. There's the door. And that's what it is. Like, it doesn't. That's its unapologetic nature. I like it because it would have been so easy for the writers to get cold feet and try to, over rationalize things and overly apologize for this. But this movie, no, we're not going to apologize for any of this. And that's exactly it. It works. And that's it, everybody. That was Problem Child. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Tune in next time, right away, for the sequel, Problem Child 2, which only came out a year after. Because, fun fact, the writers were convinced that this movie was not going to be a hit. Because the original concept was actually a lot more adult and darker. In tone. So because of executive mandates, like Teo was just guessing, they had to rework some things about the movie. Probably that's where those cliche things came from, like Teo said. So they had to make it more quote unquote family friendly, if you can call it that.
What's the age rating for this movie again?
PG, Shira.
Okay, figured.
Now the thing is, you remember, this was before PG-13 was a thing. So they couldn't rate it R. So they had to rate it PG. So what happened was the writers were convinced, because of how much they had to tone down the movie from its original concept, that the movie was not going to be a hit. As we now know, they were surprised. Oh, turns out people love this movie. So they actually did come back to write the second one. Okay, surprised. In fact, the writers have actually said in the years since these movies came out that even though they weren't exactly satisfied with the final product of the first movie, in hindsight, they're now seeing how much people still like it. People like these kids like me. They think, in hindsight, this was a really enjoyable, good time for what it was, even though it's not what we originally wanted to make. So it's not like it's not like the writers. It's not like the writers, de-own this. They're still, nowadays they're fairly proud of it. So that's good. All right, tune in for Problem Child 2, everybody.
Yeah.
See ya.